Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to No Man's Sky. Today we're going to be talking about how to manipulate the wire, which is very important, especially for wire glitching and anything linked to that technique. Now, a lot of builders are always struggling, especially a lot of beginning builders are struggling understanding why a part is glitching in a certain way. Why is my wire twisted, or why is my building part not following that line? So today we're going to be talking about different ways to recognize and manipulate the wire. So let's not take too much time introducing this. Let's just jump straight into it. The first thing you want to learn is, of course, understand what is the orientation of a wire and how can I recognize it. And this is very simple. Once you have a wire that you want to connect to, you just toggle to your wire menu. Just by pressing the button, you can now see there's going to be a symbol or an icon glowing around the connectors. If you go far enough or close enough, you need to be in the neighborhood of the connector. It will show you the symbol of an electrical symbol explaining you this is the orientation of the wire. So as you can see, the symbol is upright, which means that this is how you read the symbol, which means everything I would be glitching on these connectors will also glitch upright. So this is very simple to understand. Connector, the symbol is showing you the direction of your wire. So what you should understand is that the wire will follow the place or the surface it has been placed on. So if I place a wire on the floor, you will notice that the wire here is upright, the same as you could see right here. Now, if I put it on the ceiling and I pull a wire from here to here, you will notice that the wire is going to be upside down. You can see that these two are mirrored or flipped upside down. If I put it on the wall, I will put one here, and let's put one here. You will now see that these are now following the surface of the wall. One is pointing to the left, one is pointing to the right. So understanding that you can just place a wire on a wall, on a floor, or on a ceiling already helps you to understand how you can manipulate the direction of a certain part. Now, each device that does use electrical power will have connectors on them, and each of these connectors also have a direction. And if you look at, for example, these switches here, the light box and the battery, you can see that each of these connectors are pointing upwards. That means if I glitch anything on these connectors, the part that is glitched on top of it will glitch upwards. Compare this with the teleporter. This one is downwards, which means that everything I glitch on that connector is going to be pointing downwards. And this, by the way, is the only device with a downward connector. As far as I remember, I have not found any other device that has a downward connector. Now, the advantage of these connectors is that you can also use them to manipulate your wire if you feel like it. And this can show, for example, here, by just showing you the direction of the wire, where it is last connected to. And this is also something that you should be aware of when doing any glitches. The wire will always follow the direction of the last connected connector. Does that make sense? So the wire that you pull will always follow the last connector's orientation. So as you can see here, I got two wires. Both of them are upright. If I now pull a wire from this wire here, this connector, and I pull it to this one here, there's going to be no changes. You can see that the wire is still upwards. And if I delete this one right here, you can see that the wire is still upright. Now, if I pull a wire from the same orientation, and I pull this to the teleporter, which you can see is connected downwards, if I remove this wire here, you will see that this wire is now also flipped downwards. And you can use this to your advantage to flip a wire, which we will cover in a second. Now, that's not the only direction a building part will follow when glitched upon a wire connector. It will also follow the origin point of the wire where it started from. To show you an example, I will be pulling two wires. I will be pulling a wire that starts from here to here. I'm going to pull a wire that starts from this point here to here. Now, if I'm going to be glitching a part on, you will notice that it will follow or direct to the point of origin. And let's take a watertight door to make that much easier to understand. So I'm going to glitch a watertight door on. Let's start with this one. You can see that the watertight door is directed to the origin point of where the wire started. And it's going to be the same here. It's going to follow that same direction because the connector just follows the orientation or the direction of the origin point. If I do it on this connector, you can see that it now goes to the origin point here, and the same for this. So this is important as well, especially if you're doing several wires from a different location. Even if you make them perfectly in the floor, you will need to understand that depending on where you pull the wire from or towards to, that will be the direction that will be followed. Now, another thing we want to talk about is the possibility to actually rotate a connector. And that is when you have two wires connected on the same point. So for example, you can see I have a wire connected to between these. You can see that this wire is now following the wire that goes straight up. But if I snap my wire connector on it and I press rotate, you can see that the rotation of my connector has switched to follow the wire right here. And I can go here as well and just click rotate again and then follow that wire. And this is very handy to know, especially if you want to be glitching two parts in the same center point, but you want them to be switched around or flipped around or rotated a little bit. Now, it is possible to glitch. It is possible to snap 10 wires to the same center point, and then the wire connection disappears. But it is very, very difficult and confusing to glitch all of these on the same center point if you have 9 wires connected to that center point, because the rotation doesn't work properly and it will sometimes glitch on the same point, and you don't want to do that. So the best thing to do is always just prepare your snapping and connection points outside and then pull each wire separately to that center point, glitch on it, and then replace it with the new direction. That's going to be much more easier to manage. Now, that's not the only rotation you can do. You can also switch between up and down. So for example, you can see this wire here is straight up, and you can see that the connector on the teleporter is down. So if I pull a wire from here to that connector, that will mean that the wire I'm pulling right now is going to be upside down. Now, if I look at my connector, you can see my connector is still upright. So if I snap to it and I press rotate, you can see that it does a little bit of a flip, and then you can see that the connector is now rotated. And that's because I'm following the wire further away from me. So I can just keep rotating and either snap or glitch upwards, then rotate and glitch downwards. And that's how you, for example, can glitch two things upside down, like mirrored on top of each other. All right, I think that is about the basis of understanding orientation and how you can see and understand how a wire is directed, oriented, and directed. So let's start talking about a few techniques that will be handy to understand how you can flip things around and how you can control them. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you how I start with getting a level wire. So if I go to the garage door, which is one of my favorite ways to get this done. Let's take a garage door. We're going to snap it right here. You can see there is a connector on the garage door. That connector is level, straight up, so upwards, and it is in the center of the floor. That means whatever I'm going to be glitching here in the center and I pull it towards that, that's going to be a perfect straight line. So let me remove the floor. Let me take a new floor. We're going to snap it on that. We're going to snap it on that garage door. We're going to reverse wire glitch. And then we're going to pull that wire that is representing the center point of the floor. And we're going to pull it towards the garage door. Doesn't matter. You can pull it on this one or this one. It doesn't make a difference for the level wire. Then we're going to put the floor back. You can see that floor is now covering that perfect center point of that wire. We're going to take another floor and we're going to reverse wire glitch again and then pull that one towards this connector here. And that is now a perfect level wire and also centered in the floor. Now, the reason why we're doing this, there's two reasons. I cannot follow this wire. I cannot use this wire as my source if I want to work in this direction. So let me start with explaining that first. If I take a floor here and we reverse wire glitch from this floor and we pull it towards that one, you can see that this wire is now tilted. And the tilt is because it's following direction of this wire, because now, looking from this position, the wire is no longer straight, it's going to the left. That means that it also is going to follow the connector right there. So whatever I'm connecting or glitching on that wire will now also be flipped in that direction. That means that this wire is only great if I want to twist it or if I want to prepare my first level wire here. So we're going to put our floor here, we're going to glitch, and we're going to bring that back to here, which is now going to be a perfectly flat wire. Now, another reason why we do that is because if I delete this garage door, the wire that is connected to it will also disappear. So if you have a powered device with a connector and there's a wire connected to it, you remove that device, so will the wire that is connected to it. All right. Now, because we have done this wire now, I can now take my floor to the left and I can reverse wire glitch again, pull a wire now here. You can now see that this wire is now following because it's nice and flat here. I hope this makes sense for you. If you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments, of course, or in the Discord. We can try to help you out. Now, this is the way I like to set up a foundation wire to begin anything in this plane. If you want to make a perfect circle, if you want to do some blender glitching, this is the perfect way to get a wire perfectly in the center of the floor to start with. All right, so let me delete this wire again. Let's talk about flipping a wire. There are several techniques. We're going to show you another one in a second. But what I like to do is actually using my teleporter. Now, if I have a wire prepared, and let's say I want to flip this wire, I'm going to take my teleporter. I'm going to take this short-range teleporter, and we're going to wire glitch it on the connector here. Like that. All right, so now that we have this teleporter glitched on top of that connector, what we're going to do, we're going to be pulling our wires that we want to flip around to the connector right here. Now, remember that you always have to start, now depending on what you want to do, of course, but what I want to do right now, I want to flip the wire. That means that this connector here and this connector here needs to be flipped. That means also I need to start from here and pull the wire to the flipped connection. So not from here to here, because that is not going to work. We have to start from this point to the flipped connector, because that's the last connector we connect to. So I'm going to pull a wire here. I'm going to start from here as well and pull a wire from here. And now we have two connectors that are like being placeholders for the connectors of the wire, because I'm going to delete this wire now right here. So now we have two connectors that are upside down, but they're holding the same position we have of that wire that we had before. So if I now pull a wire from here to here and I remove this teleporter, you will now see that this wire has been flipped upside down. And no longer, if I glitch anything on that, you will notice that now everything is glitching downwards instead of upwards. All right, let's talk about another way to control your wire. It's a little bit more advanced, but definitely something you want to learn, especially if you want to get further and further into glitch building and understanding and manipulating the wire better. And that is by using the light floor. So let me just move this away from here. Let's take a light floor, and let me start with just explaining how you can notice in which direction your wire will be positioned when you're using this application. So you can see there is a wire connector on the light floor. It is directed. So if you look like that, that means that the wire here now is directed upwards in the position we're looking from. Okay. So if I glitch a wire on that connector from this position, let me just take a short wall. If I glitch a wire from here and I reverse wire glitch, and I pull that wire to that connector here, you will notice that this wire is now upright, and that is the same direction as where the wire was directed here. So if I delete this wire again, and let's now do from the other side. So you can see that the direction of the wire is facing downwards. So that means if I glitch a short wall here and I do a reverse wire glitch and I pull that wire to that connector here, you will now see that the connector of that wire is downwards. And that means that the same is going to happen when I do it from here. So if I now look, you can now see that the connector is pointing to the right. So that means that if I take a short wall here and a reverse wire glitch again and pull a wire from that to that connector, you will now see that this connector is pointing to the right. So that is how you can control the rotation of your wire from this center point. That means whatever I'm glitching on that, if I now would do this and I do a reverse wire glitch from here and pull it from here to this connector, you will see that this is now a perfect flat wire that is following the direction of that connection. Now, of course, you don't want to constantly walk around your building part to try and figure out which direction it is. What you want to do instead is you want to know where you want to glitch towards. So that means, let's say I want an upright wire on this side. All right, so I want this wire to be this orientation. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to rotate our light floor in such a way that that is going to be the correct orientation. So as you can see right here, now this wire is pointing to the left. We don't want that. We want it to be rotated. That means that we're going to have to rotate the light floor with this black bar to this side. So let's just move it. And we're going to rotate it like that and place it back. You can see that the rotation of the wire is now upwards. That means if I take a short wall, glitch that short wall here or here, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Sorry, it does matter. We need to be on the bottom side of the floor. Okay, so we're just going to reverse wire glitch. We're going to pull that wire to that connector here, which is now upright. We're going to take a floor here, a short wall here, reverse wire glitch, and connect again. You can now see that my wire is upright. So everything I'm connecting or glitching on that is going to be glitched upright. And then afterwards, you can delete your light floor. You will see that the wire is gone as well. That was connected to the light floor. Phew. All right. I hope this gave you an idea of how things works, how you can manipulate the wire, or at least gave you a little bit of a light bulb and like, oh, that's how it works. At least you can now try it out, experiment with it, and see how you can manipulate the wire yourself. To end this video, we're going to talk about a twisted wire, how to twist the wire, and then, of course, how you can transfer that twisted orientation to other parts. And that might become very handy in the future, probably far into the future, when I'm talking about how to make your own ship hull, because that is one of the techniques I used for that. So I got some floors ready right here. We're going to start with a garage door once again. We're going to snap it right here. We're going to take this floor. We're going to duplicate this one. And we're going to reverse wire glitch from this floor to the garage door. All right. And now we're going to put another floor here. We're going to reverse wire glitch from that one and just pull that wire over so we can remove this garage door here. All right, so now I got my wire here and ready. We're going to go to our short wall and we're going to snap it on the side of the floor and we're going to reverse wire glitch from here to the center floor as well and remove this one. So this should now result in a wire at the edge of the floor. So that now what I can do, I can create a twisted wire. This can be done in several ways. One, for example, is just by using a small timber floor. Then you put a wall on top of that one here. Then you put another one on top there. And then reverse wire glitch from that to that connector here, which is now going to create a twisted wire in that angle. If I rotate, you will see that is the angle it's going. That means everything I'm glitching on that connector is going to be pointing in the right angle. Yeah, the right angle. There's different ways to get these different angles by just using different snapping points. You can use also the guide that I made some time ago about minor adjustments to make sure that the angle is reached that you're trying to get. Anyway, once you got an angled wire, let's remove this wall and let's remove this floor. We're also going to remove the wire and the floor here. So I'm just going to delete the floor for a second. Let's remove this wire and we're going to place the floor back. So now you can see there is a wire connector here. Anything I glitch on that, if it's a short wall or a wall, it will follow the orientation of that wire. Now, let's say I want to bring that connector over to here, but I don't want to do another garage door, another floor, all that stuff. You can actually copy over that connection to here, and that is done very simple by taking another timber wall here and reverse wire glitch, and then take that one and glitch it on here. Now you will see that this connection is still following the same orientation of the wire that went there. And anything I glitch on that will now follow the same direction. So if I would, let's say this time we're going to snap this one here, you will see that this is now following the same orientation of where our wall was last time. So if I would snap a wall on this, you can see it follows the same. Now, it is not on the same position. That means I either need to do two things. Or I shift my floor downwards by using a short wall, like a short floor. And then we just shift it down like that. And then you can snap your other floor against it. There's a lot of snap points going on here. Let me just remove this floor for a second. There we go. And then you can see that this wall is following the same direction as the other one. Now, normally you don't need to do this because these will just snap together. So I can just keep placing these in a row. But this is important if you, for example, want to use a whole set of beams following the same direction. Or if you want to do this on a circle, you can do this as well. I can show you in a second what you can do with that. Now, if you want to just have a connector instead, you can glitch your floor on that. And we're going to take a wall again. We're going to glitch that wall from here, reverse wire glitch, and then pull that wire over to this connector. And then remove that wire here. Can I see that we have the same wire here again? I can take my wall and glitch it on that like this. So that is how you transfer connectors, orientations of connectors over a straight line. Now, if you do not have a straight line, let's say you're working with a circle or a shape, what you need to do first is make sure that this point is transferred over to the connection in between. Because if I would do it from here to here, it will also completely skew because it's no longer in the same plane as the wire like there, if that makes sense. I can show you an example for that. So if I would do the timber wall here, I do a reverse wire glitch like that and snap it here. And then we glitch the wall on that connector. You will see that this is no longer following the same orientation. It is no longer following the point we want to follow. So take the triangle again. So what we want to do is we want to take a wall, snap the wall here. Then we go to our extruded timber or whatever cap you're going to use. And we're going to snap it on the edge. And we're going to reverse wire glitch from here to that connector right here. And that is going to bring that connection to the corner of this floor. So whatever I'm snapping now on here and reverse wire glitch and connect it to here, now it's going to follow the same orientation as that one because we were not switching between planes. So whatever I'm snapping now on here will follow that same direction. Can remove my wires. And then we can take our wall again and we can glitch one wall here. And you know what? We need to delete this wire as well for a second. There we go. Then we glitch that one here and that one here. You can see they are following the same angle perfectly without too much issues. All right, I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you a good, clear understanding of how the wire works, how you can manipulate it to your advantage for wire glitching, blender glitching, and whatever is involved with this technique. I know this information can be very obscure or inaccessible for a lot of builders. This might be just a little bit too much, especially for beginning builders. But I hope at a certain point where you get to the point where glitch building becomes natural to you and you want to understand much more, this will be a good resource for a video. Thank you so much for watching once again. I appreciate that. If you like that, then a thumbs up would be really appreciated. And I will see you again for another video very soon. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.